We are at the Brooklyn Public Library, the main branch at Grand Army Plaza, with Assemblyman Walter Mosley to celebrate Black History Month by telling somewhat of an untold story of the partnership of others who are non-Black in the struggle for freedom and empowerment for African Americans in this country.
This is the last day of Black History Month, and this is a production that we're going to be showing in conjunction with the Simon Wiesenthal Center of New York about the life and times of Julius Rosenwald, who was a philanthropist, who was a businessman, but more importantly was a social activist.
Rosenwald used his power, influence, and money to invest in education for African Americans at the beginning of the 19th century.
I think the focus of the film that we're going to see today is the power of education. I think education is the great liberator. That with education, individuals can imagine things that even extend beyond their wildest dreams.
We learn a lot about the institution of slavery. We learn a lot about the civil rights movement, kind of the watershed moments in American history. But those untold or unknown stories, they're everyman stories. And I think what it does for young people and adults alike is it helps us to realize that we too can make a difference as we move toward change in today's society.
And we think it's a very appropriate film to be marking Black History Month. There are many lessons for us to learn from it, about the role of privilege that one can play, about how important it is to reach out of your own community, how to work within your own community, the fact that our society today still has a ways to go in terms of civil rights, civil liberties, and equality for all.
All of us can do something, and all of us should do something, if nothing more, to try to live up to the legacy of JR.
On the panel discussion, we'll have a diversity of voices from different groups to talk about the responsibility, the moral obligation, but then also the history of how, as groups, we've come together to help empower and enfranchise those who are marginalized.
If we can build a place where people can retain their own identities, bump up against each other, and yet manage to learn and to get along with each other, then it's an incredible lesson that Brooklyn can teach and serve as a model for.
We're going to learn from each other, we're going to teach each other, and I think that we're all going to leave more educated than when we came.
We have to understand that we still need to talk to one another, that it's not just merely enough to just rant or to chant or to just march, but it's sometimes we just need to take the time to sit back, talk, and to relate to one another in an effort to find out what makes us the same.